Welcome to the Worthy Woman podcast with Aston Simmonds. Today, I have a really special guest who I've been trying to get on the podcast for a little while, and it just wasn't aligning. But today, it has aligned, and I am super excited to have this conversation. We're going to be talking all about money. So I have the amazing Kim Kent on the podcast today, and she is a money coach who helps women create their path to financial freedom and eliminate their money blocks. I am so excited to have this conversation because this podcast is called Worthy Woman, and so many of the women listening and the women that I work with have blocks around money, and we feel like we're not worthy of money. So if this is you, if you can relate, if you feel like money feels a bit icky, you find it hard to talk about money, you feel like you're not worthy of money, we're going to be diving into the scarcity mindset and how you can get out of that and come back to that worthy woman, abundant money mindset. We're going to be covering all of that. So if this is getting your soul lighting on fire, please stay listening because we're going to be talking about all of this and more. But before we dive in, I want to hand over to the beautiful Kim to really share with us who she is outside of just money coach. I say just, it's huge, but this beautiful woman is also a mom, and there's so much more of her that I'd love to share with you. So I'm going to hand you over to Kim so she can give us a little backstory of who she is.
Hello. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. I'm so glad. Like we sat down and we're like, finally, this is timed right. So, and it's at a good time of the day where we can actually focus and make sense. So I love the little intro. And yeah, I feel the same with you. It's like I'm a money coach, and it's like not just a money coach, but it's such a simple term. But what else do you call it? Coach women with, I'm a female money coach if I want to expand on that. But yeah, I'm 32 years old, I think. Yes. Yep. 32. Stopped counting when I turned 30. And I'm a mama of a little 1-year-old. Her name's Isla. I'm a wife. I've been a bit in business. Oh gosh, I was just born an entrepreneur because I've been hustling my whole life. I've always chasing the pocket money. And as you get to know my story, you'll see why I'm a money coach now and where it all came from. But I was babysitting when I was 12 years old. I've always worked. I started my own business when I was 21. I started personal training from home and massage, and then started an online business in nutrition and scaled that really big, and then started business coaching. And now I focus on money because I feel like, we can relate in our journeys. It's almost like a missing part of especially us women in business. And I know not everyone is in business, but when you're ambitious and when you have goals and when there's a lifestyle you want to create that requires more money to support it, we hit all these blocks. These blocks come up around money, and sometimes it's the forgotten thing to work on, because I do believe we live in a world or a society that there's still some taboo around money, like we're trying to break it. I think the break is happening, but it brings up a lot of emotion. So, gosh, look at that, telling my life story. And I'm also an avid wine lover.
Yes.
I talk all about wine. Wine's my favorite.
I love that. I'm not a wine drinker, but I appreciate your appreciation for wine. I love that. And I can 100% relate to everything you just shared. And I think all the women listening can, because I agree. There is still a lot of ick around talking about money. And I think more so for women than men. And the world really shows us that we still have that problem, because there's still this massive gap in what women get paid and what men get paid, what women will ask for compared to what men will. I remember reading a study about when a woman goes for a job compared to a man, that, if a man only can tick off like 3 or 4 of the credentials or qualities that they want, he'll still apply for the job. Whereas a woman, if she cannot tick pretty much every box, she won't apply. And I was like, what the hell? But
Yeah.
it makes so much sense. I know for me, I'm a recovering people pleaser and perfectionist, and I know so many women were really raised like that, to be good girls. And we have these unrealistic expectations of ourselves to be perfect, never make a mistake. And, we put that on ourselves, we put that on our partners, our children, and the world really encourages that as well. and we're trying so hard, and then we're not getting the things that we want, whether that's in our relationships, with money, in business, whatever it is. And I know, like you know, that it comes back to these blocks, these beliefs, and this is where it all stems from. And that's where I'd really like to start, because this is why I love what Kim does. Like, there's lots of different ways you can work on your money mindset and money coaching, because, like we said, it's quite a big topic. But I love that Kim's work focuses on the three main pillars. So it focuses on mindset, manifestation, and management. And I 100% agree that you need all three. We were literally just talking about how my husband has pretty much read every investment book you can possibly buy. And I was always trying to push the manifestation and beliefs books in front of him, because I knew that you can have all the strategies in the world. That's 20%. The 80% is your mindset, is the energetics, is your beliefs. So if you don't work on that, you will lose the money. And he made that mistake multiple times. He's finally learned that, thank God. So he's now ready to read those beliefs books and things like that. So I really want to dive into this a little bit deeper. I know this is what makes you different, and I know you're really passionate about this. So I'd really like you to speak into this a bit more. And yeah, like I said, I know from my experience, from working with clients as well, that there is a lot of this scarcity mindset around money. So, you know, a lot of the time they might know what they need to do. Like, for example, they know they need to save money, but they don't. And they're like, why am I not saving the money? And you and I both know, well, it's the beliefs. It's the beliefs that you have around that and your relationship to it. So I would love to hand it over to you to really dive into this, because, yeah, I love the way you share about this.
Yes. Oh, and I love it. Every single time it's like opening up Pandora's box, even though I am so familiar with what's inside.
Yes.
And it's so powerful. So my intention actually in this part is not only just to educate and like inspire and all that, but I really want to get you thinking differently, like literally flick some switches. Not that the light bulb needs to go on. It's just literally the circuit board's changed. We're just rewiring.
Yes.
So, oh gosh, where do I start? There's two parts around the mindset. Well, I'll start with the whole how I have the three pillars, the three categories, because you need the energetics and you need the physical. If you want to manage, if you want to have lots of money, or if you want to feel wealthy, not only is it what's going on in your mind, it's also how you handle the physical as well, which is the money in the bank, the money coming in, the money going out, all of that side of it. So I really wanted to say as well, I actually love how you're a relationship coach, right? And I was thinking, I'm a relationship coach. I coach you with your money relationship. So there's a lot of things I'm going to share that I know you talk about lots, you coach your clients through, and we can apply. All we need to do is imagine you are in a relationship with money, and this is what we need to do. The only way for you to have a better relationship with money is you go to work on yourself.
Yes.
That's it. And that's in any relationship, really.
Yes.
So, okay, this is where I want to start. And this is why the mindset is so important. And I want to put it out there that there is a shit ton. I hope I can swear, by the way.
Yes, definitely.
A shit ton of money coaches out there, especially mindset focused. And a lot of the stuff they teach, it's some brilliant ones, some I've found that still teach surface layer. So this is where I just go deep straight away. Like, we're not fucking around. We have time is money. We don't have time to waste or money to waste. So mindset isn't just going and just reading the books, right? It's not just doing the affirmations. It's not just thinking like, okay, I'm just going to change the way I think, because that's all working in our conscious mind. But our subconscious is 4 million times stronger, roughly, than our conscious mind. And all our hardwiring, all our beliefs around money and life, like, are in that subconscious. So our relationship with money right now is dictated by our behavior, which is dictated by our emotions, which is controlled by our thoughts. So can we see how we've got to pull back the layers? So you can only change your behavior permanently by changing the way what your emotions are, which is energy in motion, which is the energy you put out to the world, like you vibrate at, which is controlled by thoughts. Some thoughts are conscious, most of them subconscious. So when I learned this concept, now I've I've tweaked it with my explanation, and I've added an analogy to it because this just made so much sense to me, and I'm going to share it. And I think it's just going to be like ding, ding, ding. That's where the light bulbs are going to go off. We're born into this world as pure light energy, right? We are innocent, pure. We are the blank canvas. And then what happens is we have parents or parental figures. I'm going to refer to mum and dad as it's the most typical. So we have mum and dad who bring us up, and they raise us and they teach us because we're so dependent on them, right? And they get the paintbrushes out and they start painting, this is right and this is wrong, this is good and this is bad, based off their beliefs. So by the time we're about 8, 9 years old, our canvas is painted, our beliefs are set, and they painted in that hard acrylic stuff, right? Like that shit ain't coming off anytime soon. So this is where we develop our beliefs. So especially around money, our parents or parental figures are telling us how we should think about money, how we should feel about money, and how we should behave. And it's not just by them telling us, it's what we hear and it's what we see. So how we see our parents behave with money or not behave with money, like the good and the bad. So this is where we develop those beliefs. And then what happens is we get to the age we are now, whenever the age is where it's like, right, I'm sick of struggling, or I'm sick of not feeling good enough, or I'm sick of the fight, the hustle, the burnout, or why do I keep feeling like I can't get ahead? Whatever that limit is. And usually us ambitious women is because we set the goal. And if we have a business, it's like, I want a business. I don't want to do the 9 to 5. I don't want to be an employee, or whatever it might be. Now, the beliefs that picture that was painted does not support the new goal, which is why we have blocks around money. So if you are someone who's earning, just easy numbers, $100,000 a year, whether that's a lot or a little, whatever it is, just easy numbers, you have always earned about $100,000 a year. But you're like, well, I want to now earn $1 million a year. That canvas that was painted on, those beliefs do not support your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors to match $1 million a year earner. So then understanding this, it's when we do the mindset work, it's not about getting the paintbrush out and painting over. Because that's the conscious trying to paint over the subconscious.
Yes.
Right. And this is what a lot of people do. I used to do it, which is why I kept feeling stuck for years. Right. I was just trying to paint over the old painting. But that means the subconscious stuff, the deepest hardwired beliefs, was still running the show. They were still there. So this is where it feels like hard work when it comes to money and the mindset. It's simple stuff. It only feels hard because we have to get the methylated spirits out, or I don't even know what, paint stripper, right? And we got to scrub that fucker.
Yeah.
It's hard acrylic paint. It's not some water-based shit that will just wash off. If you're a painter, and I'm like offending and insulting you with this terminology,
No,
I don't know how to paint. But
I love this analogy, and that's so true. It is, and that is why it feels like hard work, because you know it's thick. It's thick.
Yeah. We have to strip it back. We have to get it back to that blank canvas before we can start repainting. Now it is possible. And this is what I do within my program. This is the mindset part, is we heal the trauma. If there was any trauma, if you're a parent, if you're a child of divorce, you've had trauma, right? Yeah. Trauma doesn't need to be massive.
Yeah. Oh, honestly, abuse, basically, right? If you've neglected your needs, you have trauma. Like, full stop. It's that simple. That's what happens.
Yeah. So this is what we do. Well, this is what I take you through this process. It's like, let's go and heal it. And by healing it, it's the stripping of the acrylic paint. And then let's recode, let's reprogram, let's get your beliefs matching the abundance rather than the scarcity. And we'll chat about scarcity. That's if your parents or parental figures, they learned scarcity beliefs, their beliefs are based off a scarcity energy or a lack energy, and that's what they taught you. That's why so many of us have the scarcity mindset. And look, we can point our fingers and blame our parents. I'm like, go for gold. It is their fault.
But it gets us nowhere, does it? It's so unhelpful.
We can't stay a victim. It's about stepping into self-responsibility and being like, right, thanks, mum and dad. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Very inconvenient,
And
but
there'll be good
yeah,
from it as well. This is also what I share. I'm like, even like in relationships, blame is a waste of time. It literally
yeah,
keeps us stuck. So if you want to move, you have to learn how to respond. And what I like to say is, in order to respond and have the ability to respond, you must take responsibility. Like,
yes,
get that
yes,
clear. Those words go together. There's a clue there. If you want to stop reacting, which is from scarcity and fear, you want to be able to have the ability to respond.
respond.
You
Yeah.
must take responsibility. And that's a powerful, empowering moment. I just really want to highlight that, because I know I hear from women a lot. Oh, I'm realizing that it is hard to change my beliefs. And it's like unfortunate that I'm the one that has to change them. And I'm like, that's really interesting. Is it unfortunate or is it fortunate? Is it like a positive? Is it powerful that you get to change it? Because I know for me, what I had to do is separate myself a bit from my parents' beliefs, like separate to elevate.
Yeah.
I had to like look at it from a like zoom out and realize, okay, they did the best with what they knew, and now that I know better, I can do better. But if I blame them, I'm kind of holding on to that
Yeah.
energy. And
Yeah.
I'm actually not
You're
hurting
leaving
them.
paint. You're
I'm
leaving
hurting
paint on
me.
the canvas. Yeah.
100%. I'm hurting me,
Yeah.
not them. So if I want to like heal me, I need to heal them. And for me, that meant forgiveness. I needed to forgive them, forgive myself, and realize it was just a pattern that was handed down to them as well.
Yeah.
It's not who they are. Like you said, we all come in as light and love and abundance and full of possibility. And, the world and the conditioning and the parenting, it tends to create all these patterns, but they are just patterns or paint that, like you said, we need to strip back and then decide to, recreate something, paint something beautiful. And
Yeah.
we have the power to do that. Like
Yeah.
you're sharing, we're holding the paintbrush.
Yeah. We hold the paintbrush. But the thing is, if it was as simple as we hold the paintbrush and we do it, we'd all be fine.
Yes.
This is why, and I tried to do this work by myself, do all the free stuff, do everything myself for years. And it only just got me more frustrated
Yeah.
and
Well,
powerless.
you can only see what you can see, can't
So,
you?
yes.
For me, I've always needed coaches. I will
Yeah.
probably always always
Yeah.
work with coaches because
Yeah.
they reflect my blind spots. What I can't see, or what I can't hear.
Yeah.
It's a powerful mirror to reflect it back to you. So yeah, I've needed the same to, and also like part of us wants to hold on to those beliefs, don't we? Because we think
Well,
they're part of our parents, and it's like, and that feels
Well, this is
comfortable.
actually, I love that you brought this up. This is just, see, I've got so much to share. This is some other stuff this is what I coach on. And this is part of the mindset container, the space, where not only it's healing the trauma and the recoding the beliefs, but it's also the consciousness level. So going from surviving to thriving, from lack to abundance. And it's the reason we love to hold on is because we have this initial identity, which is the canvas is already painted, right? So I'll call that the old identity because we want to step into a new identity. The new identity has the wealthier thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. That's you painting the new picture, right? But the thing is, the subconscious goes, I've never been the new identity. I might die there. So it will do everything in its power for you to self-sabotage, which is why we catch ourselves self-sabotaging, or sometimes you don't even know you're doing it. Like if you got a pay rise, right? You got an extra 10K a year. I don't even know what that looks like. I'm just whipping out numbers. But say you got a pay rise, but everything the money you did have covers everything. You're like, yes, now I've got a pay rise, extra 10 grand a year. I'm going to save it. So by the end of the year, I'll have an extra 10 grand. You get to the end of the year and you're like, fuck, I don't have that extra 10 grand because you would self-sabotage because you don't believe you're worthy of more, right? The old identity goes, no, your new identity of having an extra 10 grand at the end of 12 months, you've never done that before. That's scary. Let's self-sabotage. So let's go out drinking on the weekend. Let's go online shopping. I have more money, so I have more freedom. My friends want to socialize more. Well, let's do this, do that. But you're doing it. It's not part of your wealthy woman plan. It's not part of like the clarity on where you're going. It's that self-sabotage, but it shows up in all different ways. So whenever we self-sabotage or whenever things get scary or we want to hold on to the past, it's because our subconscious goes, as much as this is uncomfortable and painful, I've not died here.
Yeah.
So it's easier to stay.
Yeah, that's my identity.
Yeah.
And we all, I mean, I do this in my work as well in relationships, because we all want to stay true to that identity. That's the driving force.
Mhm.
And so that is why we stay stuck. So the
Yeah.
answer is, like Kim said, we need to dive into, stripping back that paint, stripping back those beliefs, get support when you're doing it, because there'll be things you can't see.
Mhm.
And you know that you'll want to hold on to it. So you need accountability to let go of it and heal it, so that you can start forming that new worthy woman, that wealthy woman, abundant mindset. And I'd really, before we dive into that, I'd also really like to share, if you are happy to, share a bit about your journey and your story, because I know when I came across your story, and I think a lot of women will be able to relate, just hearing you talk about getting money and then sabotaging it, because I know women do this all the time. All human beings do, but I know
Yeah.
you have a story around this, and it's a really powerful story. I feel like if you share that, I feel like a lot of women will be
Yeah.
able to relate to it.
Yeah, I will. And I always I always forget about this story because I shared
Yes, and
it,
it's
and
so
I
powerful. I love this story.
yeah.
Every time I hear it, I'm like goosebumps.
Well, and just to paint the picture, as I said, child of divorce, don't remember my parents ever being happy. They divorced when I was about 8. So right at the time of my brain, subconscious beliefs are there. And then I'm the eldest, and then there's my little brother, but I was the one, I took a lot of I don't know if you take a lot of, like, mum always told me everything, all the problems,
Yes.
all that. Dad didn't. But as a child, I was like, why isn't dad telling me anything? Daddy doesn't love me.
Yes.
He was obviously just protecting. So mum never had any money. Dad never acted like he'd never spend any. There was just constant stress. Like, my world revolves around money, and I've just shifted it to now a positive thing, not the negative thing. So I was always chasing money. I thought, well, my parents are so unhappy, there's not enough money. Okay, happiness comes from more money. So I was always chasing it, never enough. I was 21, and I didn't even know this. And I'm the eldest of all us cousins who inherited money. So I was the first. A great aunt passed away. She had no kids. So she said, split up my estate to the grand nieces and nephews. So I was 21 years old. I was working at Subway, my sister's Subway store, whilst I was a uni student. I remember being out the back. It was my break. I knew this some money was going to land in my bank account at some point. So I was checking my on my
On your
I feel
phone.
like it's like 10 years ago. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, but I actually did have mobile banking back then.
Yes.
Gosh, how time is flying. And I inherited just shy of $62,000. So it was
Wow.
the first time in my life I've ever had 5 digits before the decimal point.
Yeah. And you were
And
21.
I was 21.
Yeah.
Now, the mindset I have now, and knowing the behaviors I have with money now, let's just say if I had that and implemented my systems and everything, I would have a lot more money than I do right now. Right? A lot
Yes.
more asset, and not a lot more net worth. But that's fine. It's all part of the journey. So I inherited this money. Now, the first thing I did with it wasn't pay off my $1,000 credit card, because that was the only limit and it stayed maxed out. It wasn't put into my savings. It wasn't pay off my uni fees or anything to do with me. I gave my boyfriend at the time, thank God we got married, because when we had broken up after this too, but we're back together and we're married now, happily married. But I gave him money to pay off his credit card because he was in like debt collection. It was about $2,000. So first thing I did is gave some away. Then what else did I do? I got my boobs done. No regrets there. Absolutely zero regrets. That was about $7,000 and a trip to Thailand. So there was
Amazing.
that. Then I can't even remember if I paid off my credit card, because I was still always I only paid off my credit card properly a few years ago after implementing the system and like getting rid of it. So whether I put money on it or not, it obviously still got used. And then I remember putting 30 grand into a term deposit. So if I'd spent 7 or 8 grand on my boobs, 2 grand to Daniel, where's that other 20 grand gone? And then I happened to ride off my car. I've always been a good driver. I've never crashed, like maybe hit a couple of bumpers because, hungover and shouldn't be driving, like super tired going to work. I remember one of those days I just bumped into a car, but this I fully wrote off my car.
Wow.
And thank God I was fine. It just the way it was, a little Getz, a Hyundai Getz. It's just the way if you saw it, it wasn't that banged up. It just, what it was insured for, they're like, you might as well just get it paid out.
Yeah.
But now knowing this work is that I do, I manifested that car crash.
Yeah.
And how convenient that I had cash to buy the next car, and I didn't have to get a cheaper car. I could get a car that I like. So I spent about 10 grand. I think it was about 10 grand on the next car. Got a little Yaris.
Yeah.
I love that car. Yeah. And I remember having to wait for the money to come out of the term deposit. So I know I got the car, 10 grand. Boobs, about 7 or 8. Daniel. So there's a 10 grand with Daniel as well. So what's that? 20 grand. I had about 15,000 left in my savings. And so there's money there that I'm like, what the fuck did I do with it?
Yeah.
Where did it go? And this all within 12 months. So
wow.
I dwindled it down, and I've held on to this story, and I only have shared it recently, like last year, because I was so ashamed and I felt so embarrassed, because first of all, who the fuck do I think I am teaching women about money when I blew an inheritance?
Yeah. Well,
right?
I
And then
actually think that's what qualifies you. I was literally, my next question was because I know everybody can relate to this. Everybody has money shame. We all do. Like everyone's pretending like, oh yeah, I've had the perfect, I've inherited the perfect money blueprint. No, said nobody ever. Like, that's why there's wealthy celebrities who blow money and sabotage. Like, the world has an unhealthy relationship with money. I mean, you just look at the news, look at the world, and you realize that we have an unhealthy relationship with money, or we don't have a relationship with money that serves us. We are the servant to the money. That is what is going on in the world right now.
Oh, I love how you say that. The aim of the game is to step into personal power and remove the emotion. That's what I teach. But what we do is we give money the power.
Yes, 100%.
The money's responsible for my happiness and my freedom. So we chase
I'll
it,
be
chase
happy
it, chase
when
it.
I have money. And that's what you did, like as a 21-year-old. I mean, also
and
compassion and love to the 21-year-old, because
I had to forgive myself.
That's a lot. And no one was there guiding you and that's why I think it's so powerful what you do, and why that story needs to be shared, because I didn't have that exact experience, but there is parts of me that can relate to that. I know in my 20s, I blew my money every week on clothes. I had the biggest wardrobe I'd ever had in my life. And I knew that I was trying to fill something that I couldn't fill with clothes, really. And, it was like never enough. And I would, that money would come in, and by the end of the week, it was gone. And I could see it hanging up in my wardrobe. Some of it still had tags. Lots of it I didn't even wear. There was a lot of work I needed to do around that. And a lot of that came from what I saw growing up, and how people in my life used their money and what they made it mean, and their relationship to it. And so that's why these stories like yours and these conversations are so important, because we can all see ourselves in that story somewhere at some point at some age. And I think that is so powerful, because I know what we're going to go into now is the lessons that you pulled from it. And just even when you were saying that you paid other people first. And I know that's not what you believe now, and that's not what you teach.
Oh, definitely not. No.
But how could you would never have known that if you hadn't have been through this experience, that yes, there was a lot of pain, but it had a powerful purpose. And I really think it is so powerful. So thank you for sharing.
And you're so welcome. And look, I bought clothes all the time. I couldn't afford it, because I was a uni student, broadcast uni student, during this time as well. Like, I learned $300-400 a week, and I lived out of home. Honestly, how the hell did I survive? Because I bought clothes, but I buy like $20 things, never wear them because they're shit quality and never fit my body right. It was never enough. And I'd buy wine, I'd go party. So that's what would get me through, right? Go numb the senses, live for the moment, deal with future problems in the future, but then just keep numbing.
Yes.
So, well, this is where, and I want to talk about this with self-worth. And you talk about being worthy. So we're born worthy. We're born pure. We're born worthy, guys. When I started my online business, which I was in the network marketing industry, which I absolutely love. If you do it right, it's such a good business model. But I was exposed to personal development and I latched on. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So this is where I started to learn all these things about growing my self-worth and being the best version of yourself and getting through your bullshit and all of whatever the human development, personal development. Now, but in that, not only was it amazing, and this is where I met my first money coach and then the ripple effect of that, but I thought you had to build your worth. I kept hearing building your worth, because yes, you do build your wealth, and your wealth is a reflection of how worthy you feel.
Yes.
So it took me a lot longer to get where I am today, because I truly believe I was feel like I had to keep building on my wealth rather than, and this is what I teach now, so I make these transformations happen so much faster for my clients, is I just had to feel worthy again. I have to realize that I'm not more worthier than you. You're not more
your worth. Yeah. You were born with it.
I was born worthy. I was born 100%.
Reconnect to that. Yes.
Yeah. And it's those paintbrushes that the parents paint, the pictures that give you the beliefs, and then events happen like dad didn't pick me up from school on time, he doesn't love me, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. Yes. Mom put me in after school care, or mom told me to shut up, or she's on the phone, or dad, like all the things we think, oh, well, we're not worthy then. We're not worthy. So all those things happen, and then we just replicate our childhood feelings through our adult life. And that's where it's like, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy. If I buy this top, I'll feel better. No. So where was I going with that? We are worthy. I didn't need to build my worth. I had to like rediscover it. I'd had to get the metho out and scrub that acrylic off, right? The worthiness was under there, on the blank canvas. So where did I want to go with that?
And then you were talking about,
a few things,
I do like how you said about, because we don't build our worth, we are already worthy, but we build our wealth. But you need to actually connect to remembering you are worthy to be able to build that wealth.
Yeah. So if you look at it like building a house, a brick house, so your worthiness is the concrete slab, right? Knowing that you would never build your house on loose sand.
Yeah.
Or, if we ever tried, or like your wealth would never build because it would just crumble. So you put the concrete slab down, you just know the only way or the stumps, whatever country you're in, I don't know. All I know is you can have big stumps in the ground that are solid, right? Or the concrete slab. Let's go with the concrete slab because it suits my analogy much better. And then the bricklayers come, right? That's the building of the wealth. You start on a strong foundation, and then you layer upon layer, meaning when you follow how you manage your money, and I talk about this, and I have a blueprint you follow. So you follow certain principles and fundamentals, you layer that on, you can invest to make more money, make smarter decisions. So you can start layering on and building wealth, meaning if I have $1 million in assets and you have $500,000 in net worth, I should say, and I have it, yes, my net worth and net wealth is bigger based on numbers. So I've just done things like my house is a 2-story house, or yours is just a 1, but that's just the physical, the bricks of that wealth. It's just the physical, but that's only relating to net worth, which is money. Because then you've got the other part of building wealth is being healthier. Well, you don't just wake up healthier. You got to go to the gym every day. You got to take your supplements. You got to eat your veggies. That's building. Can you see how it's a layer upon a layer upon a layer? So if I've been exercising twice as long as you, and we've got the same goal, we both want to run this marathon, I am more likely, depending, but it would be, do you know what I'm trying to say? I'm more likely to completely outrun you, because I've been building. So it's just I guess my point of sharing this is, when it comes to your worth, don't even worry about building, because you can't build your wealth until you've got a strong foundation. You've got that concrete slab.
So know you're worthy, and then build from there.
Know you're worthy. And then the next layer is, okay, I can just easily say I'm worthy. We're not painting over the old paint. We got to strip back. So go do the work. Go work out where's all the shitty emotions and the beliefs. Where's the embarrassment? Where's the shame? Where's the blocks? And let's heal them. And there's a specific process I go through that to help you heal it. And it's very similar to how take yourself out of it. It's not the little girl.
Yes.
You can't be the little girl going back in time, going to that moment where you develop that belief, because she's only looking at it through her lens. You've got to elevate to whatever you're saying was. I really love that.
Separate to elevate. Yeah.
To elevate. And then we do some healing. We get what's the real truth.
Yes.
What do we need to forgive? Okay. We realize it's not about the little girl. It's not about your little girl inside you. That's not what her truth is, wasn't the real truth. And then you get to recode.
Yeah.
So for example, mine was big one is money doesn't grow on trees. So what was happening? Well, I probably heard it way before my parents divorced, but I don't remember much of that part of my life. And then I just remember mum just being really, like, she had other children. I have older half siblings. So she had children really young, never got to finish studying. She worked as a cleaner. And back then, like right now, if you're a cleaner, you make some decent money. Back then, peanuts, right? And she was left with not much and had to work, bust her butt for us kids. And she had us most of the time because my dad does shift work. So she was very stressed. She already comes from, if you meet the rest of my family, a lot of lack mentality, a lot of scarcity, all of that. So she carries a lot of that anyway. So I had to be like, does money really not grow on trees, or what's the real truth? Take myself out of it. What was going on for my mom? She just is going through a hectic divorce. My dad chose to leave her. So she seemed more heartbroken from my perspective, right? So heartbroken, wanting to be the best mum she can, wanting to make sure we have food on the table, we never go without. So why was she saying money doesn't grow on trees? Why was she was being a victim? She's like, it's not me. Money just doesn't grow on trees, right? So she's trying to point the blame elsewhere. Why would she need to do that? How is she feeling? She's probably, and I can say this so quickly because I've done this work, but it took me a while. And I was like, well, how is she feeling? Well, she's probably feeling not good enough. She's probably feeling stressed as fuck. She's probably feeling scared, vulnerable. Now, does she want to come across that way to her children? No. She wants to be protecting them. She wants to look strong, make them feel safe. So it's so easy for her if you just pass the blame. So us kids are like, no, mum's fine. It's not mum's fault. So what's the real truth? So I'm like, okay, it's not that money doesn't grow on trees, and money does grow on trees, paper money.
It's paper. Yeah. Hello.
Paper, if I do that. And I'm like, well, my real truth around that is I always have over and above. There's always enough. And I recoded. I forgave. I had this higher level of compassion and empathy, which healing unlocks that part, that love in your heart. And even to this day, mum still worries about money, but it used to shit me. Now I'm just like, I just love her. I just love on her. It's just like
compassionate.
She doesn't have the capacity to look at things any other way. Trust me, I've tried. I have tried.
And well, the best way to show is to be the example, which is exactly what you're doing. And it's the same with relationships. As soon as we start to try and fix or save, we're kind of getting sucked into their victim energy. And the best thing you can do is do exactly what you're doing and be the example and love them where they're at, meet them where they're at, love them where they're at, know that it's just that's her capacity right now. And you just continue to shine the light, and they eventually will come towards the light. We're all light. We all want to go towards the light. It's just we're all on a different journey. We all have different lessons. And I absolutely love that story. I know that everybody can relate to that particular belief, and I know we've all experienced some version of it. And so we can see ourselves in that and see that once you've done this work, you know, yes, in the beginning it is hard, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. Wouldn't you agree? That's how I've felt. The
it
more
seems so easy now.
In the beginning, though, I get
it's hard,
it. Like I totally get that in the beginning, it's like, can't someone just come and save me? You know, can't someone just do this for me? I get it. But you realize once you actually do it, that's where the power is. What you overcame helped you become this version of you now. And it does get easier, because I know another coach has said to me, like, another level, another devil. And I totally feel that every level I go to in my business, I'm like, oh, what's that? You know? Wow.
And it's the same with money. Like we hit certain goals and income goals and savings goals, and then you get comfortable. It's fun. You're like, yes, you know, enjoy it. Old me would have been like, it's not enough. New me, I still have my shit. I am not perfect. Human, I totally get tested on the enough thing, right? My business, everyone's like, your business is doing great, Kim. I'm like, it's not enough people. I need to help more people. And then I catch myself. I'm like,
hold up.
Scarcity. That's my scarcity, old beliefs. Come on, let's do the work. But every time I up it, okay, how do I get to this next layer in my life, this level of achievement? It is the new devil, because you can't have good without the bad. And it's like, okay, what's this next? They say peeling back the layers, but it's like it's another block that's a peel back that layer, and that's the next block that's potentially blocking you. So go do the work. And once you learn the skill, so this is
Yeah.
the healing the trauma skill. Now that I know it, I do it all the time. You
Yeah.
can go back and recode and rewire and forgive and release and hold yourself to a standard. I hold myself to the standard of I deal with my shit. If I have
Mm,
emotion, I move it. If I have a shitty belief, I rewrite it. I recode
yes.
it. You have to hold yourself to the standard. The $1 million earner in you, or the wealthier version of you, do they let the bullshit get in the way, or do they hold themselves to a standard to move past their shit so they can earn more? They have the capacity to earn more, receive more, do more.
Yes. Oh, I
Yeah.
love this because it literally is exactly like what you showed in your story that like you can just win lotto, you can just get
Mhm.
money. But if you don't build the capacity to energetically hold it, like you don't build your mindset, you don't learn how to manage it, you don't learn how to actually manifest what you want, not
Mhm.
manifest the scarcity which you're focusing on, it's not going to work out. It's not going to end well. I always say that if you can't enjoy the journey, the destination is not going to be any better. You know, like so it's like getting okay, getting actually curious, almost seeing it as fun now. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like this is the real work we're here to do anyway. Like the jobs and stuff like that
This
is
is
just surface level. Like
it's
me and
surface
you are
level.
like, we're here for the deep shit. Like take
Yeah.
me to the deep. Like this is what we're here to do. You know, this is the stuff that like, you know, I know part of your mission is to break that generational pattern and trauma and all that stuff that is really keeping women stuck, you know, on like consciously and like on a global level. So
Yeah.
wow, I could talk to you forever. That was so powerful. I got so much from that, and I know so many of the listeners did. Is there anything else you would love to share with us before you go? I'll make sure I put all Kim's links below so you can go find her. She's got a money challenge on at the moment. It probably will be running again, I'm sure, by the time this airs. So go and check out Kim's links because I really love, as you can hear, she's an everyday amazing woman because even
Thank
as
you.
everyday women, we're amazing. I don't like to use the word just a mum or just an everyday woman because everyday women are amazing. And like she's been sharing, we're worthy and we can do amazing things when we do this work. So anything else you want to share with us, Kim?
Well, I would love to if we have the time. It'll be quick, but
Yeah,
just the
go for it.
management side. So we kind of
Yes.
just to wrap this up now because we did a lot of mindset, which is that's the Pandora's box, right? The management stuff, this is the more masculine energy. The mindset's the more feminine. So I combine both. The masculine energy is
Beautiful.
in here's the system, follow this, simple, logical, boom, 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 there's your steps. Everyone wants that because it seems easier, but we've got to do the other work first. So that's the mindset, right? The manifestation is your physical behavior. Like we are already manifesting. So my mindset stuff is like heal the past. The manifestation stuff is you right now, the present. Let's get you acting and behaving like the worthier, wealthier version of you. I shouldn't say worthier, but you know what I mean. Than what you are now. You have to step into. One of my old coaches says, you have to show up as if you've already arrived
Mm,
and wait until you get there. I translate that as for perfect example, you want $1 million business, right? How does the $1 million business version of you show up? Show up, show up, show up, show up. This is the manifestation. It's the physical. And you're holding the energy of it, and you're acting in the physical. And wait until you get there. The universe will catch up because you
mm,
are doing the things. That's manifestation. So we're manifesting right now.
yes.
The your relationship with money, the way you are thinking, feeling, behaving with money right now is the reason you are where you are. And you're going to keep getting that. You're going to keep getting the annoying bills when you feel like you get ahead because it's just the behavior and the emotions you hold around money. So we do some work clearing that and getting you there. But the management part, because everyone's like, Kim, I just want you to teach me how to manage my money. I was like, I can, and we'll
Yeah,
do
because
it. But then,
we're not really taught that at school either, are we? Like it's
oh,
crazy.
you
Like
were so not taught this at school.
so
We
much
need
like
to.
stuff we don't need. Like
Yeah.
so much stuff we don't need. And then like actually how to manage money. And I
Yeah.
love that because that is a big part of it. And I also love your feminine approach to it as well. Because I've done Barefoot Investor, you know, and I got something from it. But I love how you bring that feminine approach to it. And not that it's emotional, but women are more emotional. And I just like simple things like I remember hearing you say, like for your savings account. Like, don't call it like a fire extinguisher or like a, emergency fund. Don't do that, because that's an energy, that's a frequency. Call it like you said, your self-worth account or an abundance account. And for me, all of that resonated so much deeper and felt more true, felt more empowering, and made me actually want to budget compared to how it's talked about in a lot of the, because again, there's a lot of masculine men coaches and masculine books written by men about money. And I read them too, but I really, really do feel we need more women writing those books and talking about it. And I know for me, I've been able to relate more when it is a woman, or when it's like a woman I can relate to, like you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I work with women. I can teach men too, because there's lots of logic. But yeah, so what I want to share with the management side is, because I have the blueprint. It's a step-by-step. It's actually only a 6-step to set yourself up. And then there's a bunch, super professional. There's about, I think there's about 20. I can't even remember, because I just know them. I just don't know how many they are. But there's about 20 fundamentals to follow, right? Like guidelines, instructions. Some of them are like what you need to go do every time money comes in. And the others are like, for example, stop referring to it as a budget. Stop using that language. You'll only ever hear me say budget as a marketing tool, because I need my audience. I need you guys to be able to relate and understand.
So what do you call it if you don't call it
my
a budget?
Blueprint. I say we run our money through our system, and we'll put the money through the blueprint. Or how are you managing your money? I'll use managing instead of budgeting as the
I love that
verb.
It's a total different energy,
adjective. I don't even
and
know.
a different meaning, because we create meaning around words. And
budget is restriction. Managing is what are you doing? How's the management?
I'm the manager. I'm the CEO. I'm like,
are you going to be a good manager or a shit manager? You're going to get your weekly bonus, or does your staff reflect on you, and then you're going to be getting a review? I don't know. I tried to pull that analogy up there, but you got to manage your money. So I want to share this, because you can reach out to me, you can join and watch the recordings, or join my next money challenge. I give you 3, actually 4, but it's 3 ways to save 100K. I give you 3 of the fundamentals. That's part of the blueprint that helped me save $100,000 in a very short period of time, not earning any more money than just the average. I think I earned about $90,000 a year, and that's before tax, because I'm a business owner. So, and Daniel as well, but he earned probably about 50 grand a year, because we traveled for half of it, so he didn't earn any money. All of that, we're just everyday people. But where was I going with that? Managing, saving.
The 4 ways to save.
Oh yeah. So what you want to do
or to manage,
well, this is management via universal law. So we want to be in flow with universal law. The law is the universe is governed by laws. It's physics. It's literally everything in duality. And there's a few different ones that work. Like there's the law of supply and demand, for example. We hear this, it's very an economics term, but increase the demand, the supply must follow. With money, if you want an bigger supply of money, money is the supply. The demand is you need to raise your standards. What is the demand you need to put on yourself? Manage your money better, right? Heal your past. So my program works with that universal law. Then there's my favorite, which is the universal law of handling what you have. The universe will only ever give you what you can handle. And this is broken down into the energy and physical. This is how I do it. There's the energetic, so emotional and physical, I should say. You got to learn to handle the emotion around money. And you've also got to learn how to physically handle your money. So then this blueprint helps you physically manage your money. So you are operating from 100% personal power. You are the worthy person here. You're not handing the power over to the money, to the bills, to the bank, to the mortgage. Like you allocate everything and you budget, for lack of a better word, right? Budget or manage 100% of your money. You don't put it to the side and rely on direct debits to do everything for you. Like I teach you certain ways and certain philosophies and the mindset to match it. So can you see how?
Yeah,
I had a lady. Yeah, I had a lady just join my program. She does like $30,000 months in her business, right? Huge, awesome, freaking amazing. And she's like, I don't really feel like the negative around it, but I always feel like I don't have enough. There's not enough. Like, what the fuck? Like, and I was like, how are you managing it? Tell me what you do when you get paid. Straight away, these things. I'm like, you're capping yourself from the next level and you're feeling like it's not enough, it's because you need to learn to manage it better and handle it better. Show the universe you can do that. The one way you can do that is follow my blueprint. And look, it's got little bits of barefoot in there. It's got a little bit of MJB seminars where I learned from just some of the philosophies, but Profits First, I can't remember who does Profits First. Amanda Francis, who's a money mindset coach. There's some Denise Duffield Thomas does money mindset too. So these people that I've all learned from, and then so they all have their own ways as well, but my way works really well for females. Where was I going with that?
With the
Gosh, gotta love it
that
when mum
particular
brain
that yeah, mum brain. We're all mums listening. With the when you were talking about
the universal law,
and that particular client handling money. So
yes. So
when it was coming in, was she just sending it out straight away?
There were certain things. Well, there's one where she's like, I have this little account, this affiliate thing that's like my little guilty pleasure. And I'm like, well, straight away you feel guilty around it, even though you've made it a pleasure.
Yes.
So you're doing that. You're not putting aside your percentages for tax and GST. You're not paying yourself a wage the right way. You're doing all of these things. And that's what I was trying to say. Sorry. You've got to run it through a blueprint. I know my blueprint of how to manage your money and allocate it all and get your percentages right. It works. And it works especially really well. Us women just get it.
Yeah.
Men get it too, but usually I track the women, I talk to the women.
That makes so much sense. And just the way you said, because I would say most people, money comes in and they don't manage it or allocate it themselves. They've got direct debits coming out, and it's just going out all the time. And it's like, it's almost like I when you were talking about it, I envision like a piggy bank or just like a purse and just all these people putting their hands in, grabbing out, and you're not stopping them. You're not the one handing it to them. They're just taking it out. And that is a total different energy and will result obviously in different results because it's like the money isn't yours then.
It's not exactly right. And at the end of the day, we want to feel powerful. We want to feel in control. And money just reflects our thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. It's energy and it just reflects us. So if we are handing over our personal power, the money's like, well, you don't want me. You're not going to, our relationship's not good. It's like, how about this?
We're not appreciating it. We're not valuing it. Yeah. And then it can't appreciate, can it?
Exactly. So I just fucking love this information. And I don't know if they will never teach it in schools because just the way the system is,
it wouldn't benefit the system, would it? But we're all about get everybody out of the system and then the system will crumble. So, this is so it's so important. It's so powerful. I love what you do. Thank you so much for sharing that. That was extra gold. And I feel like you'd already shared so much gold. We just had the icing on the cake, which was amazing. I could talk to you forever because this is so important, this conversation, and so relatable, for women everywhere, for right now in the point we are in the world and all the uncertainty out there. Don't look to them, the government or whatever, look to yourself, take back your power, do something like this. I feel the same as you, invest in yourself. The most important asset in your life is you. It's 100% you. And I know Kim teaches this as well. If you do not come back to you, you can't change anything.
Yeah. And this is you being worthy. You want to decide you're worthy. You want to be like, I was born worthy, so I am worthy. Me first. I don't care how many kids you have. I have a kid too. The only way I can give to her, I can give her more when I give to me first. I can give my husband more when I give to me first.
Yeah, 100% agree with
so
that.
I'll call bullshit on any other excuse because that's just being a victim of your circumstance. And it is invest in you, decide you're worthy, put yourself first, go learn the skills, implement the skills, do the healing. You're on your way.
You're on your way. Yeah. And it's so powerful. And every woman deserves this. It's not a question of whether I say this all the time, it's not a question of whether you deserve it. The only difference between you and the woman who is putting herself first is what she believes about herself. She's remembered, she's worthy. So we really want you to take that away from this conversation today. You're already worthy. That's never been in question. It's not in question. Do the healing work. Go and follow Kim. go and join her challenge, find out how you can start to move through the blocks and the stuff that's not even yours. It's not even yours to hold anymore. So we get to strip that paint off. We get to repaint what we actually want to create, that wealthy, worthy woman. And then we get to step into that and learn how to manage our money like that woman. And this is so powerful. It's so important. And honestly, I really think we all deserve this and we all need it. So please, if you've got some value from this podcast, please share it with me and Kim. I know Kim would be happy for you to slide into her DMs, ask her any questions. Also, more than happy to answer any questions. Share it on your stories. Let us know your biggest takeaways. I've had goosebumps multiple times through this chat, so I know you would have got so much from it as well. And thank you so much for your time today, Kim. Now I know why it took so long, because it was just so magical. There was so much gold, and we had to create the space for it. So thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you and the work you're doing. And yeah, just thank you so much.
Thank you. I just feel honored. I just love, like, the more I can get this message out there, the better. So thank you so much for having me.